everyone, and welcome back to The Council. It's your girl, Cosette,
Lexi, and Rachel.
and today is a pajama episode. We are all in our pajamas. I am wearing shorts, I promise. I know it looks like I'm not.
You look so cute.
I didn't know
She
we were
is.
doing a long-legged episode, or pants episode.
I know, I just felt like this was coziest.
Same.
Yeah, but we thought it would be perfect. Just putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Today we thought that it would be really fun to wear pajamas and talk about something a little bit more flirty fun that we would talk about at a sleepover. And that is the art of flirting.
I think it's fair to say
cool.
that all three of us love flirting.
Yeah.
We love being flirted with. We love dishing it out. So I am so excited for this episode.
I know. I feel like this is going to be very story based. And
It is.
I feel most episodes we have a structure around different phases of different emotional concepts and whatnot. But this episode is more of just like as if whoever's watching is sitting in on a sleepover.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
you all are in your pajamas right now and have your beverage of choice and are ready to think of your own flirting stories as we kind of dish out ours.
Yeah.
Bicker and yap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our beverages of choice are coffee.
Yes.
Now that we're in the Spotify office recording, we're being a little bit more sophisticated than drinking
Yeah.
wine.
We're tame girls. We're
Cheers.
retired girls. But,
Cheers, ladies.
Not until after hours, right? Happy hour suits us now.
Yeah.
We're just corporate girlies.
Yeah.
Now we're just corporate girlies working in a corporate office.
It's legit.
Yeah. But flirting can mean so many different things. And flirting can be done in person, it can be done online, it can be done through eye contact. Like, that just ignited something in you, huh?
One of my best friends, she, I don't know the language in our episodes, but we were out and she's gotten this several times, but men have approached her and like, you just give off like F me eyes. And I was just like, that is such a compliment because she can tell so many emotions with her eyes. And when you're able to just flirt and give signals with your eyes, I think that is so golden. I haven't been able to really master that skill.
I think anyone has it in them. I feel like
think?
all three
I
of
think
us
I do
are.
it with my smile. I think
She's like staring at me.
yeah, you're
Whoa,
Are you
Rachel.
practicing?
She's practicing on me. Save it for back home. But I feel like you just.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Sometimes I think I fear I give those eyes without meaning to. Like Talia has said that to me before. She's like, "Why are you looking?" And I'm like, my little sister. That sometimes I don't mean to, but if I'm just really focused on
Yeah.
someone, I think eye contact can be very intimate and can be a great way for flirting. But apparently, I be giving that to my little sister without meaning to. So
God.
Then you are a master of the IF.
yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. But what besides eye contact or including eye contact, what are some nonverbal cues that you guys think are classified as flirting?
So,
We're ready to get it.
kind of going off the eye contact. So funny, like when I don't work in an office anymore, but when I did, we would have this Amazon guy deliver and literally
He had a package for you?
Clearly. Yeah, so he was delivering something and not a word was said between me and him, not one word. But like he dropped the package and then he turned around and before he shut the door, he was like
So he was
like
what?
he like
That
made
wasn't-
his eyebrows
that wasn't-
go up and down.
That's
That was
crazy.
clear signal. That was
was-
clear.
It was yes, clear signal. But that's nonverbal, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not verbal.
Okay, yeah.
You know what story I'm thinking of?
What? Wait, what?
She's like, please tell me before you say
Is
it.
it?
When
When
we
we-
were walking?
Yep. Oh my
Oh,
god.
I know
I
this
know.
story.
It was
Let's hear it from Lexi's
Okay.
eyes.
I kid you not, I've never seen this happen outside of a movie. And Rachel and I were going into a restaurant for lunch because I was living in Burbank at the time at my boyfriend's place. And I was like, yeah, come down. And we're going to Finney's, right? You know where
Love,
that place
yeah.
is. And we're walking and there's a construction man by his truck. And he was a cute construction. Like
Mm-hmm.
he looked like one of those movie construction workers. And the energy that passed through Rachel and this guy in those moments, no words were exchanged at all, but the eye contact and the concentration they both had on each other, seriously, until we entered the door, I just thought, I was like, oh my god, so that's what that feels like? That was like they were in their own orbit. I swear to God, it was the most intoxicating feeling there. I just wanted to be like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, follow us in, please. I
was
want like
Oh my god.
it was amazing.
It was an experience that happened, you know, with me and another person. But Lexi was right there, and she saw the whole entire situation. And literally, I just felt like he was walking this way, and we were walking this way. But literally, it was like we didn't stop walking, but it was like
I did not move.
It was
they
like
were on
the
each other.
world, like revolved around us, and then like we walked in, and we were like, "What the heck did that just happen?" And then Lexi was like, literally. If this was part of a movie, like a biker would have ran into the wall because
No,
they would have got stopped.
I was thinking of a movie where he's riding his bike and he's so infatuated with what he's seen that he runs into a car or something like that, and I was like, that's that. Like it was insane.
It was such a crazy
and so
moment.
that is a every time I think about like eye contact and flirting, that is exactly what I think about because I've never seen eye contact like that.
It was crazy. It was wild.
And then there it was a perfect moment that is left as a perfect moment because he didn't come in and like so we had our
and
lunch.
you could just let yourself like,
now
well,
it's
what could have been
part of fantasy world where
exactly.
wow, eye contact.
But that was so fun. It was like
so
not even expected or planned. It like just happened.
They say that if you want, like as a woman at least, if you want a guy to come up to you at a coffee shop even, eye contact is the most powerful thing, and you can almost like give them consent to come up to you by looking at them and smiling. Like if you're
I think that's true.
That makes sense.
Think about the amount of times you're in a coffee shop and you're like, oh my god, that guy is so cute, but you don't look at them, you're too scared to make eye contact with them, or you look at them and the second they look back you look away. The power of looking at them and when they look back smiling at them, maybe even waving.
Okay, I have a story then.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
This was actually the first guy I met in LA. Like he becomes the first date, becomes the first everything, and I was with my uncle and my aunt's husband, and he was showing me around all his favorite places. So it was really because my aunt was at home with their kid and she was pregnant, and he was like, come, let me show you this bar, let me show you this bar. So it was often me and him having a drink at the bar, and I was like, cool. And then there was this guy, he was throwing darts, and I was like, this guy is so cute. I do not like how I'm with my uncle, but how do I make it known that
it's my
this
uncle?
this isn't anyone.
Yeah.
And I kept going back and forth looking from like at him to the bar to him. Like it was clear. I was like, I'm into you. And he came up to me with my uncle there. I don't think my uncle even registered what was happening because he was like, whoa. He's like, hey, starts talking to me. His name was Alex. He's nowhere now. Like I'm not worried about saying his name.
Alex listening to this right now.
Alex listening to this. Two Alexes, right? And he's so tall, so like broad and everything. And then I went over there, played darts with him, and then we were meeting.
You just played darts with him?
Yeah, and like collected his number, collected it.
I left
with my uncle to go meet his cousins at another bar. And he texted me and like whatever, we went on a date. But I remember that like I wanted him to know like I'm interested. Here's eye contact for you. I'm not gonna go over there. And he got the hint. So I think that is so true that you can relay to a guy that like, hey,
you could
I
draw
want
them
you
in
to
through
approach.
the eyes.
You have permission.
Yeah.
Come hither. Yeah.
I wanted to mention, since you're talking about, you know, contact at a bar, something I heard, I haven't practiced, but this is absolutely brilliant, is if you see someone and you're like, ooh, like they're like really cute, but you're like a little too shy, you're like, I don't want to go up to them. What you do is you go up to them and you have like a note with your number and you say, hey, I just wanted to say like you're very handsome. I'm hopping out of the bar and, you know, have plans right now, but here's my number.
And you have to immediately leave.
It breaks the ice, and it's like if you're, you know, some people are overly anxious and like could overthink everything.
I like that.
And it's like just an easy way to say, hey, I'm interested. Here's my number. I gotta go. And if he's interested, then he'll reach back out.
I think that's great because also you can get through that rejection. Like they don't necessarily have to be like, oh, I'm not interested. Like you're like, I'm leaving, just leaving this. if you're not interested, don't text me, that's fine. But I've heard that the best way to go up to, and I agree with this, to like a girl at the gym, because a lot of guys, when a guy goes up to you, it's
the
not
gym
a move.
is always
It's not a vibe.
yeah.
It's like, let me do my workout. But some guys, or at least this guy on TikTok that I saw, would write his number and just go up and say, hey, I don't mean to disturb your workout. I think you're beautiful. Here's my number. You can throw it away. Text me if you're interested, but like enjoy the rest of your workout, and then just go about your business.
I
And
like
most
that.
of the time people
like
will be
that.
flattered, but going up, like the amount of times a guy has come up to me at the gym and like thinks it's funny to like tell me how to use the machine and then hit on me after, I'm like, okay, that's not the vibe. Like
I
don't...
also like I don't say if I'm notorious. I don't think anyone else knows this, but I will never return somewhere if I think that place now is gross. Like I've stopped boxing studios. I've stopped salsa dance lessons because all of a sudden someone is too creepy and I'm like, well, I don't care how much I love that place. Like I get so uncomfortable there. So I get like approaching at a gym or at a space that someone is often returning to can be really tricky. And I think that's that is a good way. I'm talking so fast. I think that is a good way of saying like, hey, not making you uncomfortable. I think you're beautiful,
Yeah,
and if you want to hit me, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And also, anyone, beautiful is such a great word to use.
Yeah.
Instead of hot.
Don't use
like,
hot.
Yeah, please don't use hot.
Or
don't,
stunning. I love stunning.
Not
Yeah.
the place to say
Oh,
sexy.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, no.
beautiful is a great word to make them feel not only beautiful but seen in a way. Not like
Yeah.
And
I'm here for my
respected.
body.
Yeah.
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 So that's always a good note.
Okay, girlies, what are your go-to flirting moves? Let's take away the fact that you both have boyfriends. We get it, okay? But think about when you were single. Like, what are some of your go-to, or if you're flirting with your boyfriend, because you still can be flirting with your boyfriend. Obviously, we know that's true. But like, let's say you're out at a bar and you see your current partner, but you don't know him. What's it going to be your go-to move to go up?
If I'm going up, I'm kind of bold. Like
You are more bold.
Yeah, I just like to, like, I think I just try to make conversation. And I don't know if it's because I haven't feared rejection. If it happens, it happens. Other people are like, that's really debilitating. That's not even a word. Debilitating? Debilitating? Okay,
Thank you.
it isn't comforting to know that rejection is a possibility. And so for me, I don't mind that that realm of possibility. So I'm like, okay, like the only thing they can do is say they're not interested, or please say you have a girlfriend if I'm overstepping.
Yeah.
But I really am like, hey, what's up? I've never actually asked someone if I could buy you a drink, but I remember in college, this guy was trying to dance with me, and this other guy that we were with came up to the guy and was like, this is my girlfriend. Don't even think about it. And we weren't dating.
He was trying to protect you?
Yeah. And he pulls me away to the bar. I thought, okay, that move right there was so sexy. It was so...
Oh, were you interested in this guy? Or was he just a friend trying to protect you?
I just met him that night. He was like a friend of a friend hanging
Okay.
out. And so, very cute man. And he takes me to the bar. And he's like, let me buy you a drink. And I was like, I'm a free woman. Let me buy you a drink. And so I bought him a drink.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
But now you're not getting a free drink, but you're paying for two.
Now I'm paying for 2 drinks. My dad always said that. He's like, why? Sometimes it's okay to use your women power. It's okay to get free drinks.
But that man had good intentions. He wanted to buy you a drink.
Yeah, he did. And so, but like, I've always thought women offering to buy the other person a drink, no matter who they are, we as women just saying like, let me buy you a drink. I feel like I would like, imagine if I was the opposite person, because I am a woman. I just think that's so sexy as like a flirting move.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think
like, I wish I could do that again. Like, Mr. Right, let me buy you a drink. Like,
yeah, you could still do that.
I could.
But I think some guys would find that emasculating.
You think?
Maybe like
men, write in, please. Tell us what you think about
I
these
can think
situations.
of a few people that would think like, well, no, that's my duty as a man.
So what I like doing is whenever people do approach me and say, hey, can I buy you a drink? Obviously it shows that they're interested. And if I say yes, that means that I'm interested in, getting to know them as well. And what I like to do is, let's say they buy us a drink, we mingle, and if it's going well and I want to continue this, we're done with our drinks, I'm like, can I buy you a drink now? So I don't know, I just feel like let's keep this going.
Keep it even.
You bought
too.
me a drink.
Yeah.
And I want to show you interest, so I'm going to buy us a drink. So it's like kind of balanced.
I think
I
that's
like
a
that.
good move. I think
Yeah.
way too many girls expect for drinks to be bought for them too. I actually had this debate with my cousins like the other week about if you should accept a drink from a guy at a bar if you are not interested. And like, you know, they were like, well, you know, yeah, if a guy's offering to buy you a drink, and my cousin was saying that she was out and this guy offered to buy her a drink and she was not interested in him at all. I wonder if she's going to be, she does listen to the podcast, but I'm not saying anything bad. So.
No, it's just,
You know who you
yeah.
are. But she said, no, like he's offering. I don't have to give him any interest. I don't even have to look his direction.
You don't owe
And-
him anything.
Yeah, you don't. But
But-
I think I stray on the side of like, I would not accept a drink from a guy if I
If he
was
had
not
no
interested.
interest.
Especially if, you know, she's single. But if I was, especially if I was with someone, I think it would not be right to accept a drink.
Oh, yeah.
I
wouldn't
agree.
yeah,
I would hope that, like,
don't
yeah,
accept a
I
drink.
also wouldn't want, like, then to encourage or just prolong any type of conversation. If they're getting me a drink, then I'm like, am I sitting and chatting with them? Am I like, no, if I'm with my boyfriend or like not technically with me, he's back home or whatever, then
Yeah.
I'm just talking to this guy waiting to get my drink and I'm like, okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Like,
But
I
it's like,
just would rather be with whoever I'm with and
Yeah.
talk to my girlfriends.
and it's like you say yes to the drink, and then he's like, cool. In his mind, he's like, all right, something could go on.
yeah.
And then you have the conversation, and it's
I
going
think
and
rightly
going, and
so. He doesn't have to
he's like,
like,
"Oh,
he's
yeah."
not owed it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you just said yes to a drink. So
It's
he's
a
like,
nice
okay,
thing to
great.
do.
Like,
yeah.
we'll talk. I'll get to know you. And
So you're chatting, and he's like, oh, could I have your number? And then, you
You're
know,
like,
someone's
"Oh,
like, oh,
sorry,
I have a
I
boyfriend.
have a boyfriend.
Wait,
Why
and
did you
then-
let me buy you
yeah.
a drink?
Okay,
Why,
thank you.
why didn't you say that before? Why did you let me buy you
Yeah.
a drink?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. And
I think it's proper etiquette to say no if you are in a relationship, for
Mhm.
sure.
yeah, let's get that out there, Mr. Right. If you're listening, let's not just because it's a free drink doesn't mean you.
Are you talking
get it.
directly to the camera?
I'm talking to him specifically, but you know, also talking about flirting with your partners, and you know, I try, and we've talked about this in the past. I try to initiate flirting if I'm looking to get something out of it at the end of the day. Like
Oh, what are
I'm
you
trying
looking
to
to
get
get
lucky.
out?
There
it is.
I try
That's
to
my
start. I try
girl.
to start early in the day. Like I like to be flirty in
Ooh,
text or
yes,
in
we've
call,
talked
and
about
just
this,
like
building the tension
yeah,
throughout the day.
I like to just sprinkle in like either it's flirty messages and or things that I'm looking to happen later. Sometimes it's bold, sometimes it's straightforward. Like when you come home, this is what's gonna happen. Or sometimes I'm like,
Ooh, assertive.
sometimes it's just like, oh, you look so handsome today going to work, can't like miss you already, or try to be cute, and then when
Build
I get
it up.
yeah,
Okay, I just had flashbacks.
flashback.
What? Why are you
Uh,
looking at me?
Yeah,
No, I'm looking at both of you. I had flashbacks to the days, like for the viewers, we used to drink a lot of wine
Oh, I
and
know where this.
try to get into some flirty conversations with some men over
Hot and
bachelorette
heady.
nights. And
Beautiful days.
I remember
Beautiful days.
I think of those so fondly because I remember it was so fun and we were so good at it. But I remember in particular, one of my exes, we were like, let's see how much we can push this, because the thing is that when you are like flirty texting a girl, you are most likely flirty texting all of her friends.
There's
Yep.
a counsel there.
Yeah,
who's
who's-
seeing how like everything's gonna play out. Ooh, this is good. That touches here. That touches there.
Oh, say this, say
Yep.
that.
But
It's
I
like,
remember,
okay.
oh my God, these times I was on fire, might I say. I feel like maybe I would look back at those and
I'm
think,
trying to think,
and think
are you-
differently.
Are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about why.
Yes.
I knew it.
I
And
knew it.
It was one night in particular where I was like, wait, we
let's-
were very early stages of talking, one of my exes and and I was like, let's get steamy. We're watching The Bachelor, like it's so much
Ugh.
fun. And this man could not flirty text.
You could not get
let's
the
say like
hint.
dirty text for the life of him. I was grasping at straws. Like
it was
oh,
so tough.
it was so tough.
It was so sad. Like he had to know that what you were doing.
I was putting myself out there, and he
so
was
many
just
shots were
not
fired.
picking it up. Like
No.
well, I mean, I'm trying to remember specifically how he responded. Be like, ooh, or
That's
like,
cool.
ooh,
Or
that's like stuff like that, and you're like,
he was just very, and so I was thinking like,
Very-
oh, does this mean he's not into me? But he was, and then I remember later on we played the game Talk, Text, Dare, Flirt, whatever it is.
talk, flirt, dare.
It's a
yeah.
game
Yeah.
that we've passed around in the spring. We
Yes.
passed around a lot of sexy games in the
Yes.
spring.
Ooh, this one worked for me. Try
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I got lucky. You try this.
yeah.
But Yeah, I remember there was one dare where he had to send a dirty text to me in front of me. Like, we were both sitting there. Do you remember this? We were both sitting there, and
Ooh.
it said, like, write a dirty text to your partner right now.
I love that dare.
And it took him, like, 15 minutes, and it was not even good. Like,
No way!
I remember I was sitting there, and
That
I was
would
like,
make me feel
he's like, I just don't know how to do it. And he was, like, overthinking it, and then he'd write it out, and then he'd erase it and be like, no, that's not good. And it took him so long, and then I read it, and I was like, oh, okay. And I responded something so good and, like, fast and snappy immediately, and he was like, I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm like, that's why I think it's really good when you find someone who has like the same quick-wittedness as you.
Yeah.
But I just remember those early days of us.
Oh,
and
I remember.
there were
They
times we would
so
send a
much
risky
fun.
text and then slide our phone under the couch so we couldn't reach it until the next
Yes,
commercial.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that. Like
Oh, yeah.
or like we're like, you can't look at this now.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when I was doing a program in Spain. I was doing a 4-week program in Madrid, and after the 2 weeks I graduated from like one of the writing programs, and so we were celebrating. We went out, and there was the cutest bartender. Like,
Oh, I know this story.
yep, it was so cute, and I was like,
I'm like, a story that I don't know?
no,
Impossible.
I know she knows every story. And then so I asked my friend who speaks Spanish, and I was like, how do you say, do you have a girlfriend? And like, what is it, like, tu es una novia or something?
Tienes
Like,
una novia.
yeah. And so I was like, okay, great. And then like, how do you ask, can I have your telephone number, like your cell phone number?
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, this is how you say it. I'm like, great, I got this. And this was my approach to like flirting and like coming on to him, because I'm like, I'm never gonna see this guy again. Let's just shoot my shot. And we were making eye contact, and
It's the universal language.
it is.
Yeah.
And so the music is like very loud in there.
Music's
and,
bumping.
Yeah, music's bumping. You know, in Europe they're partying till like 5 in the
Liquids
morning.
flowing.
So it's already like 2:30 in the morning, and everyone's just getting started. And I go up there, and I can barely hear, and I don't speak Spanish at all.
Oh
But I
my
ask him if he
God.
has a girlfriend. He understands, and he shakes his head with a smile. And then I'm like, what's your number? And he just puts in his Instagram. I'm like, that works. Like, amazing. We're good. And so all night we were like hanging by the bar. Like, we were like understanding each other. He turns out to be like Guapo España of 2018.
Oh, yeah. He had, like,
Wow.
some
I don't know. No one
title.
looked that up. I know his name. I think I still have his WhatsApp number, because we did get numbers. But I remember we connect. Anyways, I never touched this man, actually. Like, nothing ever happened, because when it came down to it, I was too much of a romantic, and I was like, what? This is only going to be a one-night stand? That's crazy. But for the rest of the 2 weeks that I was there, we dirty text like no
Oh
other.
my goodness.
And I Google translated everything
Like
Oh
no
my
other.
gosh.
to put into
Wild.
Spanish, and then I would send it off. And then so by the end of it, he asked if I was a porn writer, because
you're a good writer.
Because
You
also.
are great with
because
your
I really had
words.
imagination. I
Yeah.
was like, not only am I picturing everything, but I'm putting it into words. I'm putting it into a story.
Mhm.
And so when he got that, like when he sent that back to me, I thought that was like the greatest compliment
That is a compliment.
ever. And so, yeah, dirty texting is.
I've read some of your dirty text conversations.
Well, also Cosette connected me. Oh, that was also a very.
It feels like I'm reading a Wattpad like fan fiction. Like it's
that
like a
also,
Colleen Hoover
gentleman.
book.
That like remember.
Yeah.
I also never touched this guy. I don't know. Me and guys never actually talking and just dirty texting is pretty crazy. But that guy, I remember that was the guy I was almost gonna visit in Texas.
Yeah.
And
yes. Oh
we.
my gosh, I'm blushing thinking about
Yeah,
it.
let's.
That's wild.
Woo! It's hot in the pajamas.
Woo!
So wait,
But-
here's a question.
Yeah.
When it comes to flirting over text or social media or with a friend, how can you tell between flirting and just being friendly? Like if someone is just like that.
Emojis.
Okay, wait.
Winking emojis.
No one should be. If you're confused about if what is the scenario? Because if I'm thinking, if someone is confused if they're flirty texting with them, then
Some people
think
are
they
just
like-
very flirty personalities.
That is true.
I think in person for sure. But how are you texting them that's making them also think? Because in text, like Rachel said, it's sometimes there's misunderstandings. But if you're getting a flirty vibe in their text, then I would think it's pretty flirty, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but
oh, you look so cute today. That's a flirt. But oh, you look nice today.
some
Is
people
that
just-
being read as a flirt?
Okay, maybe I'm thinking more like a lot of people flirt for the attention, but they're not actually interested in pursuing anything.
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah, we don't like those
We don't like
people.
that.
We don't want attention seekers.
How can you make yourself clear enough that you're flirting? If maybe you're flirting with someone and you feel like they're not picking up on the vibe, do you take that as like, okay, maybe they're just not interested and so they're not giving it back, or maybe they don't know that I'm being forward, and like maybe I'm not being forward enough.
Maybe you're not being forward enough.
Maybe, but I think I think maybe try it again, being more forward. And if they're not getting the hint, then you either come out directly and say, hey, I'm flirting with you. I like you. Or if that's too bold, then try it again in a different approach that you feel like could not be missed. And if they're not picking up on it, then they either are not reciprocating because they don't like you, or they're not going to be on the same level as you. Like, they're not on the same wavelength.
So true. This next question is for Rachel specifically.
Oh,
And
fun.
it is how important, I know you feel very passionate about this topic. Can you guess what this topic is? Based on something that I think you're very passionate about?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
That would be a crazy thing to ask.
I know.
On the
I was
podcast.
also like, what is she asking?
Rachel and crazy?
Okay, the
Pop
question
rocks.
is how important are emojis in making sure your tone is understood?
Oh my gosh. I live for emojis with literally
I knew you would.
with literally yes, no. With literally anyone, like my mom, my family members, friends, significant others, literally my feed is filled with emojis because just through words itself, yes, you could understand, but you don't know the tone, you don't know how they're feeling, and it really, if you're just texting them and it's not in person or it's not in a phone call, you're able to receive the tone of the text message like much more better. It gives it like more of a shape, and it's like, ooh, they just sent a winking emoji. Oh, they just sent a kissing emoji with the little heart.
So my follow-up question to that is, are there any emojis that you reserve for if you're flirting, or are there emojis that you'd use for flirting and you'd also send to friends that, like, I think kind of like you were saying, like, could be then, oh, does she like me, or are you using that in a friendly manner?
And that goes hand in hand with my question, actually, which is what your go-to flirting emojis
Wow,
are.
we're like
on the same
Take it
wavelength.
away with both those questions.
You are a
Well,
master.
I feel like I should just look at my phone and go through my recent
Off the top of
emojis.
your head, like, what are some
Yeah.
ones that you default to?
Oh, I love the crazy emoji. The do you know?
Do you
like
use
the
that
tongue
then,
sticking
like,
out?
when you're flirting? Or do you flip-flop with them? Like, you're...
I could like definitely. I feel like if there's just like a funny situation going on with like my siblings or something,
Yeah.
my sisters, and it's like, oh, I'm not crazy, but I'm crazy.
But, like, devil horns, you know, where I'm like...
Oh, devil horns
If
is
my
for sure
boyfriend was
flirty.
sending that to someone, I'd be like,
Oh, yeah.
there's not really a context where I think,
No.
like, devil horns are applying to just a friendly conversation,
No,
you know?
yeah,
What-
they
ooh,
absolutely don't.
Here's a great question. I also want to hear your go-to emojis, and I'll think of mine. But what are some emojis that if you saw your partner texting someone else would be like? Mine, I'm thinking is like the peach emoji and the eggplant emoji.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
those
yeah,
are very
those-
peach. If I saw that,
Yes.
and
Unless, because I know my boyfriend is constantly talking to his guy friends, unless... That would probably prompt me to be like, who are you texting? I'd
Yeah.
probably ask him straightforward, who are you texting with these emojis? Because first of all, you don't use emojis. And second of all, who are you
Yeah.
sending these emojis to?
Yeah.
So that would be that question. But absolutely. But yeah,
Definitely peach emoji, eggplant emoji,
kissy face for me.
kissy
Like
face.
the heart kissy face
Oh,
for
true,
sure. Like
true.
no one should be getting
Really,
that.
any of the kissy face, unless it's like a family member, why
Yes.
would you be sending that to like
Exactly.
a coworker?
Maybe the tasty emoji with like the raindrops.
Oh, like yeah.
Oh, like wait, the
Wait, the
tongue,
tongue emoji.
and then
tongue
the
or the-
sweat.
Yeah, the tongue and the sweat.
Okay.
Oh, well, sweat one for sure. Like the
Mhm.
fiery one. The like he's red and he
Oh,
has
yeah,
the
he's
sweat.
like-
Devil for sure.
Yeah, devil. Yeah, those ones.
Those are pretty like the basic ones.
The fire emojis, I think, is an example of something that could be used in flirty context and also friend context.
Like that was fire.
Yeah.
Like, or that dish was fire. Or yeah, there's that's why I'm like, you know, there's some that you can use as flirty, but there's some that I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I even told Mr. Wright, I'm like, you don't know this, but I only use the red heart with you, and I use any other heart color with
Aw.
everyone else because you're my red heart. And he's like,
Cute.
oh.
He's like,
I didn't even
"Thanks,
like. Why
babe."
would I even know that? But thank you. And I'm
Well,
like,
you know, like
Aw.
yellow roses are for friendship.
yes.
What is it? Pink roses are for like crush, and red roses are for love. Like each
Oh.
color of rose, I could have
Yeah, they
totally
have a
butchered the
meaning.
meanings, but I
But,
think
like,
the same way with
there's-
emojis.
yeah.
I'm like, a red heart is like important, meaningful. Pink heart is more like cutesy. And
I
then
think so too.
white heart I use a lot with like friends and stuff because I like the aesthetic of it.
See, I like the yellow heart. I just love the color of the yellow, so I use
Yeah.
the yellow a lot. But my friend, she only uses like orange heart, and that's why I love the colors of the hearts.
I
'cause
know. I
they're
love that
just,
they.
like,
I
there's so
love that
many
they
options.
added
so much
the
fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
pink.
yeah.
There's
But
so many options.
yeah, the emoji question was good because those can help a lot in your messaging.
They
yes.
can.
Yes, they
It's so
definitely can.
interesting because I feel like now I'm thinking a lot on the realm of flirting over text and social media, and I feel like sometimes we get into these like we're just on fire and like we are just so quick with it, and
Sometimes it's not even about what's happening
yeah,
so much as the adrenaline you get from having a great
and
steamy
it's back
like
and
you're
forth
like,
and back.
oh
and
wow, that was a good one, and then you're like, oh, I'm not actually doing any of this.
Oh no, I'm probably
not
like
feeling-
sitting in a library.
I'm
like,
probably
with a
eating
turtleneck
Cheetos.
on.
Yeah, I'm like face mask on,
Yeah.
Cheetos. Like
No
yeah,
makeup
I'm
But it's
in
doing
just
bed,
so
hair in a
fun.
bun.
It's so much fun. It's just like, yeah, it's a different kind of conversation. It's almost like you're texting them about, oh, what do you think about this? Or let's have this deep conversation, except it's a different route. And you're like, this is,
Yeah. Gosh,
So-
I feel like we're already at 30 minutes, but I feel like we have so much
Wow.
more.
we need a
flirting to
part
talk
2.
about. We
Like,
might be doing a part 2. Yeah.
I think pajama sessions might be a regular thing.
Yeah,
I know. I like
Because we
those.
have skills and tips to share with you all. Like, we have health and wellness here, but we also have some steamy
Oh,
drops.
yeah.
skills
So
and
we do.
We're
We
gonna
have
talk.
stuff
We're gonna
to-
talk after this episode about whether we're gonna jump right into a part 2, or if we
don't know.
save
We
that
are
for next
heated.
time. I don't know. Anyway,
Woo.
so I think that we'll put a pause in this topic for now for this episode.
Emojis and eye contact. I think
Yeah.
you can already begin to implement those into your flirting
Yeah.
if you haven't already.
But there's so much more that we want to talk about on this topic. So
I know.
So much
this
more.
is to be continued.
Yes.
To
But
be continued.
For this episode, this time flew by so fast.
So fast.
But give us your best pickup lines in the DMs. Slide
Yeah.
into our DMs.
Please
Show us the game that you got.
I want to see what I can use on my boyfriend. Like,
Yeah.
I want to come up with new flirting pickup lines.
If you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star review
Yes, that's a
and
good
subscribe.
reminder.
Give us a follow.
Yeah, follow us
Follow
on
us.
Spotify, 5-star review, and follow us all on Instagram. Hey, if they want to find us on Instagram, where would they find us?
You can follow me at Alexandra Lee with 2 X's and 2 G's.
And Lee is spelled
Leiggh.
very
Thank you.
confusing.
I know.
You can find me at Cosette. That's Cosette.
And you could find me at The Girl IQ.
Woo! Okay,
guys,
guys,
so
thank you so
easy.
much. We are signing off. It's Cosette.
Lexi.
And Rachel.
Bye.